Hi guys, welcome to another video. So the latest release of Power BI, April 23, also included an update on the order by formula. And I think it makes the formula way more powerful, so I figure I do a video on it. Want to know all about it? Stay tuned. So here we are in Power BI, and I have an example of a table on my canvas showing the total sales for every subcategory and the category that is a part. Now, imagine that my management information requirement is that I be able to compare the for every subcategory. I want to compare the value, the total sales of that subcategory to the value of the first subcategory of that category. So here I want to be able to compare this 16 to the 488 and the 14 to the 488, right? And for clothing, for instance, I want to be able to compare the 757 to this 52, the 420 to the 52, etc. So how am I going to go about doing that? Obviously, I'm going to use that index formula. It is a table formula, so it is easiest to just show you how the formula works in an actual table. Okay, so we're going to say first subcategory for every category equals index. So first we need to state the position. Well, we want to have the first. Next, the relation. The relation is the table that we want to use for this analysis. So which table do we want to get these values out of? And it is actually the table that I was showing on my canvas before. And the best way to obtain that table here in a table express DAX table expression is use all. Then we're going to supply the category and the subcategory. Okay? The result of this here part will be the table that you saw on my canvas before. Now it's getting order by. Well, we want to order this by the subcategory. We want to get the very first subcategory. So div product subcategory. IntelliSense doesn't really work yet. So I'm sure Microsoft's gonna have a look at that. Partition by. Yeah, so this is an important part. So we want to do this analysis, meaning give me the first record for every category. So we should make sure that we split this table, we divide it up into separate parts, one for every category. Okay, so we get the first one for every category. Now let's see what we end up with. So for components, I would get forks. So let's see. That makes sense. Yes, that makes sense. And so this is a way in which I'd be able to determine the very first subcategory for every category. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to take this here DAX, and I'm going to use this for a measure. So I'm going to add an additional measure here on my canvas. Saying, give me the total sales. Sales for first subcategory equals, so to calculate. Then we want to have the total sales. And now I'm going to use that expression that I just written. Make sure that I format this the right way. Like so. Then we need another parentheses. Okay, so now this is going to be evaluated within filter context. So if there is a category in the row header, a filter is applied on that category, and I'm only going to get the first subcategory for that particular category. We show. Add this here. This looks about right. So all I need to do now is make sure that I format it the way I did before. And let's see what we have. So indeed, I take the value for the first, every single time it's the first value for the first subcategory, and then I use that to determine, and I use that for all of the other categories, subcategories. Now, this was already available. This was already supported before April, but what we got now is that we're also able to order by a measure instead of only a column. So that allows for doing other kinds of analysis. Now I would be able to compare every subcategory to the highest subcategory in terms of total sales. Okay, so let me again show you first here in this here code. So I'm going to say, I don't want you to order this by the subcategory. I want you to order this by a measure, total sales. And I want to have the first one starting at the highest. So I got to go from high to low, meaning descending. Okay? So then what we get is here for components. Now we get mountain frames. Okay, so for components we get mountain, and that makes sense because that indeed is the highest value. So all we need to do here is change that formula a little bit. So we're going to say order by total sales descending. So now let's see what we end up with. Yeah, so now we get the value for the highest subcategory. Okay. Total sales can go. So let me give you a more specific use case for forming analysis like this. I can leave total sales in there. That doesn't really matter as much. So we're going to use all I got is total sales. So we're going to use this again. So I want to see the percentage of a subcategory compared to its to the highest category, a subcategory within that same category. Okay. So we're going to go ahead now and say, show me this measure. So the percentage sales, total sales of a subcategory versus the highest subcategory within the category. Okay, so this would be my first building block. So I'm going to add that to a variable. So this is the highest subcategory. This. Then we take the bar for the subcategory itself. That is simply total sales. That's simply going to respect filter context and do nothing other than that. So then we take the result, right? So that would be the division. So I'm going to divide the subcategory, not the highest trigger, this one, by the highest subcategory, and we're going to return the result. So let's see what we end up with. Total sales. Now I want to get rid of total sales. I want to make sure that we format this as a percentage. There you go. And that looks about right. So let's present this in some kind of chart. And make sure that we sort this axis by category. And there you go. That looks about right. Data labels on. There you go. So this will be a use case of using that new update to the order by formula. Hope you liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye guys.